Hi guys, so I thought today I have a few things to show you. I had just received an import from Aroidasia and I got some gorgeous Hoyas. I want to show them to you first, and I was going to actually show you all of the plants in my Fabrikor cabinet, but there's actually way too many of them, so I think I'm going to have to split the video into two. So today we're just going to do one of the cabinets. So without further ado, let's get started. Hi, my name is Grania and this is my channel, Jungle Flowers Canada. So I'll tell you a little bit about the import first. So it came from Aroidasia, as I said. There was a group of 12 of us all together. So we did a combined order. The order came to I think over $1,000. I can't remember exactly the amount. So because the order was so high, we didn't have to pay for shipping and we didn't have to pay a phytosanitary certificate, which was fantastic. So we placed the order in June, and then there were problems in Indonesia where they couldn't get phytosanitary certificates. So we finally got the phyto and they shipped the plants. Now, Indonesia ship with DHL, and DHL are a little problematic. So the plants, I was watching the plants, they actually went to Singapore, then to Cincinnati, and then to Canada. And they arrive in Hamilton because DHL sorting office is in Hamilton. So I have been watching this very closely, and I will add here that my two daughters are due babies any day, so I was very anxious that it wouldn't, clash with the babies, because I will be going in with them and their husbands, the poor husbands. But I think the husbands might be a little bit glad, because at the moment you can't get epidurals in the area, so they're probably going to need mama to calm them down. But anyway, that's an aside. So I had been watching, and they arrived on Friday morning at 4 a.m. So when I got up early, set my alarm, got up early, was phoning DHL. So I decided I'm just going to head. I had asked Aroidasia to send me all of the paperwork. So I had printed that out, and I was in my car driving, and I think I was probably on hold for over an hour when I finally got through to somebody from DHL. And then they told me that I also needed a copy of the weigh bill. So I pulled off and went to a Staples. They emailed me all the documents. I printed out the documents and I drove to Hamilton. And there was a bit of traffic at the early part of my journey, but I got to the customs office at Hamilton Airport probably around 10:30. Cleared the plants, and then I was able to pick them up. Now, the issue was the plants were $904 US or something to that effect. I can't remember exactly what it was, which was the equivalent to 1,300 Canadian dollars. We had to pay duty, which is 6%, and tax, which is obviously 13% on top of that. So we had to pay $240 to clear the plants. Now, had we used DHL and I had got DHL to deliver them to my door, we would have actually paid double that, because DHL charges, adds the same amount again on top of the shipment. At least that's what I believe, because that's what I have experienced in the past. So by driving down, I saved that DHL charge, but the duty was very expensive. Now, the only upside to this was there was 12 of us in the group, and also that we didn't have to pay shipping. So I divided out the amount, and then everybody paid their portion of the taxes and the duty. So, long-winded story, we got our package. I just drove then, so the DHL office is just beside the airport. I drove over, picked up the package, came home. Plants were in great condition, thankfully. There was just one mix-up. They did mix up, instead of sending us Tengamus, they sent us all Clemensorium. So some people had ordered 2 Tengamus and 2 Clemensorium, and they ended up getting 4 Clemensorium. So they were a bit disappointed in that. I have written to them and asked them if they could do something about that. So I am waiting to hear back from them. So I have to have a sip of my tea, guys, because I'm after being doing a lot of talking there. So what did I get? I got a Hoya. It's Raneouenses. I will put the name on the screen. I actually had no idea what this plant looked like, but it actually came with 2 cuttings in the package, and both plants were completely different. Okay, so I'm not sure which is the correct one, but the way I look at it is, you know what, I have now got 2 different plants, but I'm thinking that this beautiful variegated one is the Aroidasia, if that's how you pronounce it. And let me show you this leaf. Isn't that fabulous? So I know I say gorgeous and fabulous all the time, but I absolutely love this leaf. Now what I did was I took an insurance cutting, which I'm now doing when I import, because in case it fails. So there is actually, I will show it to you later, I took a cutting of this and I have it rooting in water, and this I just put into my pond. Some of the roots were stripping just a little bit. I cut off all the dead roots and put it into my pond with some Osmocote. So that is the first plant. The second plant I got was the Lambii. I think it was called Lambii Red. Let me just double check that. So this is the Hoya AFF Lambii Red. It has this tendril in my face there. So can you see that? Isn't that just lovely? So it was a really nice sized plant. Again, I was able to take a nice cutting. It does have a nice tendril, which has fluff on there. And I am very pleased with this plant. So that was plant number 2. Today is Sunday, by the way, so these came 2 days ago. Now, in with the Aroidasia was this plant. Now, funnily enough, this has happened to me before with Indonesia. I got 2 Tangamus, and they were completely different plants. So I don't know if there's just different varieties or what it is, but you know what, this is actually beautiful. So maybe this is the actual plant and the other one isn't, I don't know. But I think this is gorgeous, so I'm not upset because I actually now have 2 different plants. So these are very hard to ID because there's so many of them that are similar. So I still think it's gorgeous and I'm quite happy with it. Oh my gosh, I have so many plants on the table that I have no room. I'm actually going to make labels, guys, and put them in the plants, because we know how bad I am. And then this was another cutting from that Aroidasia or whatever it's called. So you can see after getting some, like there's 4 plants now because I also have my cutting. So next up is I got 4 Hoya. Next up is my Hoya undulata Splash. Now I know this baby is contrary and a lot of people have issues with her. But look at that. So it is let me just double check. It is, yeah, the Hoya undulata Splash. I just hope this plant makes it. I have wanted this for so long. Now I did take 2 cuttings of this and I'll just show you, I just put it into pon. So I just put it into one of my soup containers, and we need to bless this one to make sure that it survives, because I know the undulata is very, very contrary. So that is plant number 3. And plant number 4 is the Hoya sulvesi Red. Now it's, can you see? Hopefully you can see the markings on this plant. So I love this plant, and I think Paula gave me a cutting of this and I killed it, if I am not mistaken. Hers is beautiful. So I am delighted to have this. And did I take a cutting of this? I think I did. I think I took a cutting of this also. So there are my 4 plants that I got from Aroidasia. Oh, I did also get a Florida Beauty, which I had ordered after the fact. So I will show you the Florida Beauty. She is beautiful. So if you've watched me, you'll know that this is actually a plant that I have wanted for a while, but it was so expensive, I was reluctant to pay it. Now, I am seeing them, they have come down in price, like drastically, guys. I paid $170 for this, which was a really good price. But they are they are starting to come down in price. That's a lot for me. I've never spent that much on a plant before, but compared to what it had been in the past, it had been over $1,000. And maybe let's just look at this little leaf again. Look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? Oh Lord, do you hear the monsters? So this here is CV Viola. And I bought this as a cutting. It was probably a 1 or 2 leaf cutting, probably maybe 2 years ago. And it is loving life. Look at how many leaves there are on it, and it's just growing like crazy. I could probably take some cuttings of this, but I just think it's so cute. I have such a hard time cutting my plants, but this is obviously in my Fabrikor cabinet because that's where they've all come from, but they're actually putting out lots of new grow points. So that is doing very, very well. I'm just going to stand that. No, actually, I'm not going to stand that over there. Here, I'll put it this way. I'm afraid it will fall. Next up is my Finlaysonii. These have just taken off this year, guys. I cannot believe it. So, this is my Finlaysonii. And I think this actually has flowered for me. As you can see how big it's getting. Look at how gorgeous the leaves are. Again, this was a cutting I brought in from Thailand. And it just takes a year or two, and then you just have, like, they just take off, and then there's no stopping them. I don't know where to be putting them else. Okay, next up, again, this was I actually took some cuttings of this. This is the Memoria. Just leave that off there. And this, again, just took off this year. And as I say, I did take some cuttings of it. So cute. I don't know if you can see the leaves there. There's some speckling on them. And it's like a really cute plant. Well, they're all cute, aren't they? Let's face it. This here is, so I could not figure out what this was, but I finally figured it out. I actually went back on my old videos and I thought maybe I did do an unboxing for this, and I did. This is the Hoya Sustanthia. Now, it's not a splash, but there is some just very light splashing on it. But like, it's not splashy, but there is a peduncle. And if you don't know, this plant has the most beautiful flowers. So I'm really excited for this to flower. Next up we have the Flavida. I cannot get over this. This was like a 2-leaf cutting less than a year ago. And look at how much it has grown. The Hoya Flavida. So cute. So I have all of these hanging at the side of my cabinet, so that's why they're in this type of a pot. And I just have like suction cup hooks, and they hang, and it just creates a lovely waterfall effect. Guys, I'm so hot. We're in a heat wave at the moment. Holy moly, this heat is going to kill us all, isn't it? And I'm drinking tea, of course. Okay, so here we have the Hoya Sunrise. Now, I do have grow lights in my Fabrikor, but they're not stressing my plants. They did when I initially put them in, but I think they've lost their efficacy. So I am, I don't mind, because they're still beautiful. And this again was just a cutting, and she has taken off gorgeous. So the Hoya Sunrise. Now this one here, I have to get the name of. Oh, Hoya Vitellina, I think it is. But look at the lovely veining on the leaf. And this has also really taken off. It's so cute, isn't it? This was only a one leaf cutting, I think. It came with this one leaf here, which is damaged, and it has really put out lots of new growth this year. Oh, you know what, I'll put the name on the screen because I can't quite remember it. This is perhaps one of my favorite Hoyas. Well, I love them all, but I just think this is gorgeous. This is the Hoya erythrina. Look at the leaf on this, isn't that just gorgeous? I love this red stressing, and I have taken a couple of cuttings of this, but I did lose some, but you can see her big long tendril here. So I am struggling to root this, but I think I'm just going to leave her alone for now. This here, now this is hilarious. This is a Hoya Fusco marginata, and I cut it up, and then these were the newest two leaves. Aren't they spectacular? Now, some of you are going to say, Gráinne, that's not a Fusco marginata, and I would be in agreement with you if I didn't know it was a Fusco marginata. But this, like, these two new leaves are just gorgeous. Now, this may be a little bit of stress from the lights, but I just think it's gorgeous. I do have a big plant of it up here in my window, and I took cuttings from this to make a bigger plant, and I contemplated selling. It was a 2-leaf cutting, but sure, I couldn't sell it then when I saw the new leaves, because that's the story of my life. I'm going to run out of space because I can't sell my plants. Well, I am trying to sell some because I'm trying to recoup some money to buy more. So that is the plan. It's not working as well as it should, but that is the plan. Casper is being a total monster. What you up to? What are you up to? You're so bold. You're so bold. Okay, so I love this plant. This is the Hoya Heuscheliana variegated. And I had a cutting of this, and I took a second cutting, and I was rooting the second cutting, and then the whole thing just died on me. This is a contrary little plant, but it's so beautiful. So there was a lovely lady on Facebook, and she was selling this, and she said, no trades, please. But I had a cutting of my gun and gadding, and I wrote to her and said, would you be willing to trade it for a cutting of gun and gadding? And she said she would. So I was really happy. So I got this. She was happy she got her gun and gadding, and I'm hoping that I will have more success with this because I really love this plant. My plan would be to put it in one of these pots eventually and have it hang down the side on the inside of my Fabrikor. Next up, this is where I need to put Paula Gate. Okay, so this, let's do this one first. This is the Dakei. I wanted this plant so badly, and this is a brand new leaf that just came out, and I absolutely love it. And I can't wait to have a big plant. When I watch Amy from Wolfgang's Mama, I just love hers. So I was so excited to get that. And then Paula gave me this one, and I think this one is the Macrophylla Snow Queen, because I know she gave it to me. So anyway, if it's not, and I can figure out what it is, I will let you know. This beautiful Polyneura Splash. Can you see the leaves on this? They are just stunning. I was so excited when I saw this. Oh, I had it backwards. You probably wouldn't even see the splash. There we go. I was so excited to get this. Isn't it just gorgeous? Okay, so here we have, okay, I'm going to have to think, I think this is the 074 or something like that. It's that Carnosa. I will look up the proper name of it. I can't think off the top of my head what it is, but I will, as I say, let you know. And then here we have Wilbur Graves Russia. So I have Wilbur Graves China and Wilbur Graves Russia, and this has just put out a new growth point. Can you see it there? I love it. Not the splashiest, but I still love it. I think it's gorgeous. I have seen some that have like really high splash, but you never know with these plants. It could put out splash. You know, that's just the way it is with Hoyas. You know, it's nature. We never know exactly what we're going to get, but I do love it, and we will see how it matures. So this here is the Wilbur Graves China. So these leaves here are amazing, as you can see. Look at the beautiful splash on them. But then these ones are not as splashy. And the irony is, they all came from the same cutting. So I just took a cutting, actually, so there was a long strand of leaves on this, and it was the not so splashy section, so I actually took some cuttings of that and I'm rooting them. I'm waiting for the splashy side to get more leaves, and when it does I will take some more cuttings of that as well. But this is a beautiful plant, and like when you think about it, these are just carnosa, right? But they're just gorgeous. So I'm happy to have both the Wilbur Graves, China and Russia. This is also a big favorite of mine. This is the Hoya parviflora. Look at the leaves on this. It is just stunning. Isn't it just gorgeous? I just took a cutting of this as well to make a bigger plant of it. Of course, you're focusing on my face. And I just think the splash on the leaves of this is beautiful. So this is definitely one of my favorites. Now, that covers all the plants in the cabinet. So I think that's it for today, guys. There's no way I could fit in the other plants, so we'll do them next week. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you watched till the end, don't forget to put the green heart emoji in the comments. And thank you once again for giving me time out of your busy day.